All right, I've welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Wednesday, March 6, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Again, another masterclass in the live day trading room on the E-mini. It's been really good trading lately. If you're thinking about joining, now would be a great time. In any case, let's get into the markets today. So markets here, lots of volatility happening today. We did have the JOLTS number at 10 a.m. We had ADP non-farm payroll this morning as well. Both of those coming in a little bit cooler than expected. It wasn't like ridiculous, but obviously overshadowed by Jerome Powell speaking on Capitol Hill. And senators asking him stupid questions that they don't barely understand. But he did say a few things, and I'm just going to go over it because I was tweeting like crazy today, but it's just easier to do this. So this is what the bears look like right now. But Powell is working on a liquidity package which addresses the problems faced by Silicon Valley Bank and others like it. You're also going to see now that is twice in the last week that Fed governors have hinted at QE. Last week, Operation Twist from Waller, that was last Friday, and now from the horse's mouth, Jay Powell. Last week they talked about Operation Twist, right? And now Powell is saying essentially, we've given up. So additionally, let's look at this one too. Let's go back. We are not looking for inflation to go all the way down to 2%, but we need more evidence. There it is, ring the bell. So they've finally admitted it. So they are, they've thrown in the towel on inflation. And yeah, that's it. So like I said yesterday, Powell's not getting reappointed by Trump. Biden's his only hope right now. And if you're Biden, you take a look at, what does the voter care about more, right? Do they care about inflation or do they care about having a job? Because there's going to be inflation no matter what. So I think they'll look at what they're looking at right now is, okay, well, I think voters would be less pissed off if they're still at work and they're getting eaten away by inflation than if they're not at work and they're getting eaten away by inflation. So it looks to me like they're prioritizing growth here. What's funny to me is that you have like oil today, which it is higher, but it came in since he started speaking. He basically, like I'm telling you, he told you like what they're gonna do. They're not saying this for no reason. They're hinting at QE. The Fed drops these little hints right before they do something because they want to test the market, test the waters. And it's funny that you've got oil coming back in. You've got wheat at double bottom, corn, near the lows, soybeans near the lows, so softs coming down. Precious metals are getting the memo. Look at gold at new all-time highs. Silver acting well. Platinum, palladium, big moves here. Copper, big move here, although it did come back in off the highs. So I think commodities are, at some point, they've got to be a screaming buy if they're actually going to do that. But the Fed has thrown in the towel. And now, short term, is this good for the market? It's probably hyper bullish, right? But, eventually this is not a good thing, right? Inflation, people think that, inflation means that stocks go up. They just go straight up. That's not true at all. Like, look at the 70s. I'll just show you. They went sideways from, late 60s all the way up until 1980, 1982. And by the way, if you adjust this in inflation terms, it actually dropped about 50 to 60 or 70%. So you lost a lot of buying power during this chop. It's not automatic that stocks go up when you have inflation, especially when you have the world's reserve currency. So it's not a crack up boom or anything like that. But, if they are going to pump liquidity in the system, and by the way, he said liquidity. So everybody out there telling me that BTFP isn't QE, okay, fine. I believe you. The squiggly line stopped going down the second they did that program, though. And now he's literally saying the words liquidity program. So explain that one away. Go ahead. I'll wait. Tell me about how they're not going to add liquidity. Tell me how they're not already adding shadow liquidity, given we're up 25% since October 27th. So in any case, that's my little rant for today. But markets right here, we talked about this in the trading room. I told members, hey, just as long as the low of the day holds, the market's okay, bulls still in control. That's really all we need to worry about right now. We don't care about the headlines, but just from a macro standpoint, that's where I'm at. But in the short run, as far as traders are concerned, we don't care about that stuff. That's just noise. But low of the day is holding, and markets are holding up. So right now, what do we have? I think 51.10 or so would probably be the cap for today. Maybe 51.15. That would be kind of an outside move. I am a little surprised, though, that we didn't squeeze a little higher, right? Because we had 51.15. I've had that penciled in now for really all week. I said this is your buy the dip level. On Monday, we never got there, right? We just floated up. Tuesday, we got below it. Then we back tested to it. And then we back tested again this morning, pulled back. Nice short scalp for us in the trading room, by the way. We also bought the dip this morning. Well, actually, we missed the dip by two points. We did get in long, though. And then we rebought down here. And anyways, it was nice. But we squeezed above 51.15. Didn't quite get to 51.30. And then we had a nice little volatility spike. But big point is, as long as the low of today is holding, there's no reason to get worried about an air pocket. And as long as 50.60 holds, I think the market is okay. I will say to you guys now, since I've been saying 50.38 is a big level, and that this is obviously a big level, these are kind of far away right now, or at least this one is. Obviously 50.38 is important, but now, again, just to go back here, 50.60, that's a major. That is now a major, at least in the short run, because we've hit it 1, 2, 3, 4 days. And this is producing a bounce right now. And if we take a look at your fibs, another reason why I said 51.15 would be important. Picture perfect 618 right there. We did go to the 75% and rolled over. But if we hit this again, I don't think it holds. So that to me is an important level. Bulls, you got to get above 51.30. You do that, lows are in and we'll make new highs. Bears, it's really simple. Like I said yesterday, you get a lower high. You've got a setup here for one, but you have not confirmed that right now. So that is the long and short of it. That's all you really need to care about in the short term. And just let the market dictate that. I do think it's interesting that we are closing right. Look at that white line. There's the spiders. It's right there. We'll use the SPX. Right there, right? That was the low of the day essentially earlier, bounced, and now we're just going to close right on that. So interesting stuff. This trend line is important, but I think to me 50.60, 50.55 is bigger, and then this is where you could get an air pocket. And that would confirm a lower high. But that's the dynamic right now that I'm looking at. Interestingly enough, so if we look at the Qs here, up 60 basis points versus the spiders. Yeah, just about at parity. But guess who's the big winner on the day? Again, Russell 2000. So that was up a lot more than the spiders and the Qs at one point. It did pull back, but again, this is still holding up, right? Again, I keep looking at this, and I'm still seeing evidence of rotation to other things. What did I say last week and earlier this week? If the Fed is going to do QE, this stands to benefit way more than everything else. So right now, kind of seeing that rotate under the hood. Interestingly enough, also Mag 7 still weak. Apple on the weaker side. Google, Microsoft, even IGV, which isn't Mag 7, but that had a pretty good slice yesterday. That has lower high potential. And you have Meta and Amazon that are still holding up, although Amazon was down today. But really, it's not even Mag 7 anymore. It's just the SMH. It's just the SMH. NVIDIA, SMCI, ARM. Look at AMD today, Broadcom. These guys need to fall before the market can fall. And when they do, I think you'll see at some point weekly higher lows and rotation into small caps. But right now, that's the dynamic there. The triple Qs. Again, this level is going to be pretty important. Yesterday's low, it kind of coincides with that gap window. That could open an air pocket down to 425 if that fails. Russell 2000 is still holding up well. Weekly, there's no real problems here. You had a nice thrust, pause candle on the weekly, and it's looking okay. We might need to let those moving averages catch up a little bit, but I still think it wants to get up to 210. Diamond here, getting a bounce, so up 26 bips. You do have lower highs and lower lows, so just be aware of that. A little bit of damage there on the diamond, maybe some momentum starting to stall. Could be a rolling top type setup. But again, yesterday's low 385, 382.50, and 380 are your next levels. If it pops back up, double top, and then 395. SMH still holding up. Doesn't look like it's going to close above the high from Monday, but it's still hanging in there just fine for now. When this slips, the whole market will slip. IGV getting a bounce, still inside of yesterday's range. Again, 1, 2, 3 lower highs. Careful. Be careful with cloud here. So I don't like that series of lower highs. You do not want to take that pivot out on a weekly. But it's trying to hold up for now. Dow Transport's a sector I still like. It did come back in pretty nicely today after being up earlier. But again, weekly pattern is still good. Don't need to go over that again. Below yesterday's low would be definitely soft. You could make a case that there's... I'm just going to get rid of this 15.6 here for a while. You can make a case you got a little head and shoulder there. It could, but you know why a lot of patterns fail is because the weekly time frame doesn't confirm it. And right now you have a weekly bullish inside bar. So be aware of that. But it's there. All right, let's get over to rates here. So again, here's kind of the funny thing, right? So the Fed's trying to push down the yield curve, but it's going the opposite way. So you see the 2s, 10s, and 3-month 10-year there, even 5s, 30s, and 10s and 30s, the same thing. 2-year, not bad today, still flat, still holding up. And you see the 30s, the long end coming in. I think there's a good shot of a higher low here, maybe a pierce of this trend line. But it's interesting how that yield curve is coming more inverted as they talk more intervention. By the way, today's price action, it's all like Powell is essentially saying it's appropriate to start rate cuts by the end of the year. But I don't think they need to, because every time they say something like that, yields go down, and they're effectively loosening financial conditions by doing that. So that's a dynamic there. But the Fed's not in any trouble unless this starts to break back up. I think it will eventually. I don't know if it will happen right away, but you start to push towards 5%, then the Fed's in a real pickle, and it could get interesting going into the election because they politically changed their stance. XHB here, that is still acting well, still a powerhouse. Nothing to really say about that. 108.25 we'll say is my next level for that. VNQ continues to hold up. This is getting interesting at this area. I think it's kind of attractive, honestly. XLF continuing higher. Again, we'll give that the upside bias to 41 for now. KRE. So there was a lot going on here. NYCB got halted, and then it rallied about 100%, 200%. You can see the big halt there at 12:30. It resumed at 14:40, so that's 2:40 p.m. Eastern time. And now it's just backing off. So they did get funding from none other than Steven Mnuchin. Right, I can't believe I'm even reading this out. But that's what happened. I think to the tune of $1 billion. Yeah. So anyway, it's holding up. It got a bid there. It got saved for now. And KRE basically flat today, but it did have a nice take a look at the surge when that news came out. So good surge. It did pull back. It's in better shape now. Still not great. There's a lot of shorts in this, and that's why it can rally more than you think. KBE holding up. Good volume coming into. Broker-dealers still holding up as well. Crude just can't get above this trend line here. I don't know why. They're desperately out of Biden's on the ask. I don't know. They're trying really hard to keep it down. I still have an upside bias to 81.50, maybe a little bit higher, but it did pull back in today. So did XLE, but again, still green. Made new local highs. I'd like to see it close above this pivot again, as I don't think we did do that last Friday, but kind of just flirting with it right now. So still struggling there. Either way, it's all right. XOP still holding up. OIH still holding up. But it did it made a new local high here, but couldn't hold off that 100 moving average. CCJ hanging in there, still resistance at 42 and 45. URNM, same thing, 50 and then 52 area. Needs to hold above this white line by the end of the week. Nat gas backing off here. I'm not sure if this wants to put in a lower high or if it's basing for a move up. Tomorrow we have inventories. That'll tell us a lot more. If it gets dipped down and then you got to buy the dip, it's probably going to go higher towards 220. If it dips on inventories and keeps dipping, it could go lower. I wouldn't advise shorting it here, just because you're like basically shorting it when it's already down 90%. And I think shorts are already pretty offsides given seasonality too. But at the same time, you got to respect, call a spade a spade. If it's a lower high, it's a lower high. Dollar index, this broke down today in a big way. So we did break 103.50, and now that's the third day in a row where the dollar has had zero effect on the markets. So dollar trending down here, and market, spiders not really, we'd had some volatility the last 2 days. Weak dollar has not helped. So dollar's going rogue here, and really bonds, I guess bonds are respecting it to an extent. So is gold, but dollar definitely going rogue here, or perhaps the market's just not listening. Needs to hold up here though. So 103.50 is kind of daily line in the sand. There's still like a lot of weekly support around 103, and there's plenty of room for a weekly higher low. So just be aware of that, but definitely a sign of weakness here on the daily time frame of the DXY. Gold makes new all-time highs here today. So again, this is listening to the Fed. I can't tell you if it's going to keep high, if this is a breakout or not. We do have OPEX next week. Maybe they pull the rug in front of that. Again, the only reason I keep saying that is because GDX is just, I want to see more from this. Yes, it's had a nice pop off the lows, some shorts covering, but you still got 7 points to go to get to just 52-week highs. One argument is that, it's really undervalued here. I think it is undervalued too, but I would prefer to see this. Can it make a higher high first, at least, before gold breaks out? We'll see, but I'm not arguing with the chart here on gold. Silver acting well as well. Still into this trend line. That might need to do some backing and filling to get through that. Platinum and palladium, the big stars of the day. Palladium should get to 1150. So nice outside move there. It was a long time coming. Nice inverse head and shoulders. They're triggered on the daily. And then copper hammering on this trend line here. Got the higher lows. It can get through it if it wants. If not, it's going back down to 375. Market's closing in about 30 seconds here. You can see Bitcoin still holding up. I think this is probably a local top, though. Good volume behind that. Nice slice there, but we did not make new highs today. So I'm thinking we'll probably need to do backing and filling here. There's nothing wrong with it. Again, like I say, zoom out to the weekly. There's still nothing wrong here. Still green on the week. But it is a little exuberant here. Ether made a new high, so that's a good sign for the alts. Doge is probably cooked for now. But Polkadot, look at this, holding up nicely. Solana, Cardano, Matic, even XRP looks a little bit better here. Litecoin getting a little bit of a bid today, but some of these other alts, the ones I'm in, obviously holding up pretty nicely. So again, that's good to see. You want to see sector rotation when the majors back off. But I think possibly a local top here. Okay, so markets closing again sideways from where we were. We just went sideways for 2 hours, 3 hours. We had the beige book at 2 o'clock. Again, kind of a nothing burger there. But markets are holding up. So again, big picture here. I think 50-60 is a major level, and right now we dip if we go below the low of the day today. Obviously tomorrow we can repair above 51.15 again, and then above 51.30 we're going to make new highs. So we'll keep it simple, just like that. But definitely a lot going on, and definitely a lot of things starting to converge with this market here. Definitely feels like we're getting close to some type of shift, but we don't have evidence that that's actually changing just yet. So anyways, guys, going to wrap up here. You guys take care. Come find me on CarnivoreTrades.com. I will talk to you guys all tomorrow.